Kevin Collins here with another raw file of the week edit from the FroKnowsPhoto.com forums. This is week number 17's photo. It's a picture of a toolbox with a bunch of tools in it. Looks like there's some gas tanks there behind it for welding or something like that, probably. Anyway, I'm gathering from the name of the file that Roberto actually submitted the raw file, and if so, whichever Roberto did, I want to thank you for doing so. I have seen Jared's edits of this, I've seen Greg's edit of this, but I've not seen any of the forum members' edits. This is not my picture, like I said a minute ago. This is Roberto's, and I'm just doing the edits. So with that, let's just get in. This picture was taken with a Pentax K2000 at 1/30th of a second at f3.5 ISO 400, 18 millimeters on an 18 to 55. I'm assuming that's a kit lens. I did a little bit of research on this camera before I started this video, and found out it came out in 2009, a couple years ago, and as best I can tell, it's equivalent to a Canon Rebel XS, which is the 400D. Yeah, the 400D. I actually have the Rebel XSI, which is the step above the XS, or the step newer. I guess I don't know that it's above or whatever. If I'm not mistaken, the XS and this Pentax are 10 megapixels, and the XSI is a 12 megapixel. But this camera and my camera share one of the same problems, and that's when you get into mid to high level ISO, you start to get a little bit of grain up through here. And you know, this isn't terrible. This is, I mean, it's barely detectable actually, but you zoom in at 2 to 1 and you can see the little pixels here in the dark areas. You know, that may just be a factor that it's a 10 megapixel versus a 12 megapixel. What I do know is when you compare this to the shots from like a D7000 or Nikon D3S or a Canon 5D, that type of stuff isn't there even at 1600 ISO. So anyway, I'm being picky because I know my camera does this, and anyway, we're gonna jump in here and we're going to see if we can get maybe even 2 pictures out of this, probably a color and a black and white. Like I said, I did see Greg's and Jared's, and if I'm not mistaken, one of them did both, and if I'm not mistaken, Greg just went straight black and white. Can't exactly remember, but anyway, I think we're going to end up with both. So let's get into the color one first. Let's make our virtual copy and get going. Right off the bat, I think I'm going to bump the exposure just a little bit, maybe even as much as a full stop. And then, as Jared would say, I'm going to boomify it by bringing up the contrast to somewhere right about 70. And I'm going to bring in the blacks to up about 9. I said 9. Let's look around here. I mean, you can see the sharp focus, f3.5. So, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. It looks to me, and this is just a factor of wear, I think, that the reds on the left side of this cage are brighter than the right side. And I'm going to do a little bit of vibrance just to try and bring that up a little bit. I don't know, I may have went overboard right there. It looks like I might have blown it out. Let's see what it looks like before. Maybe a little less. Say about 15, 17. And I'll just leave it at 17. Bring up the clarity just a fuzz. Now, down here, like I was talking about earlier, you can see this this noise. I'm going to use the noise reduction just ever so slightly. And I'm going to turn on my light sharpening. And then it just kind of disappears. My light sharpening is a derivative of Jared's what he calls, I think he calls it basic sharpening, but I've tweaked it for my camera. What I found is that these settings, every time I get something with just a little bit of noise in it, these settings just kind of make it disappear. 7 amount, 0.5 radius, 15 detail, and 49 masking. Now what I normally do is, depending upon the subject matter, I'll tweak the masking to apply more or less a sharpening where I feel it needs it. And I think that just about does it for my color. I'm going to give it one last look here. Yeah, these tools have been used, there's no doubt about it. Kind of makes me wonder if the guy who was taking this, guy or gal, Roberto, I'm sorry, who took this picture was standing waiting for his car to get fixed and just happened to see this toolbox over here. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that and just leave that be. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a virtual copy of the color, and I'm going to turn it black and white. And what I may do is bump up the exposure just slightly more, even though I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to turn it down a little. And then I'm going to add a little bit of fill light, just ever so slightly, so where you can get into these details here. Back the contrast down just a little bit. That glove just kind of disappears in there, doesn't it? I don't really want to go overboard on the fill light. Maybe just a shade more black. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that's my color version, or my black and white version. Jeez. There's the original. Nice shot, great composition, excellent focus. Just it was taken in the back of, or the, a dimly lit side of a garage, and we just brightened things up a little bit, made the colors come out up more than the original shot, and then I just turned it black and white and tweaked it just so that everything stands out from each other. That's a nice shot. That's a truly nice shot. So anyway, there's my two versions. Until Jared or Greg picks week number 18, we'll see you.